In this part, I'm introducing another method to value inventory by using other information. Lower of cost or net realizable value are well used for many firms. There are also exceptions that lower of cost or NRV cannot be used. So in this part, I introduce another alternative approach, which is called lower of cost or market. The idea of lower of cost or market is same as lower of cost or NRV. Rather than using the net realizable value, in this approach, we use another proxy of market value to measure the decline in the value of inventory. Actually, lower of cost or market, we use more information than a lower of cost or NRV. In this approach, we introduce another term called replacement cost. Basically, the cost to replace the inventory. The replacement can be repurchased or reproduced. And we have two limitations to value in the inventory. One is selling, which is measured as NRV. The other is floor, which is the difference between NRV and a normal profit margin. The NRV here is same as the NRV we introduced in the prior section. Because a selling and the floor, the inventory's value is no more than the net realizable value and no less than the net realizable value less a profit margin. In this example, we are given the sales value, the cost of completion and disposal, 300, profit margin, 10%. So we can first determine what's the net realizable value, which is the sales price subtract cost of completion and disposal. Price is 1,000, which represents market value. Subtract cost of completion and disposal. The 700 in red is net realizable value. And net profit margin is 10% of sales. Actually, it's 10% multiply the sales, 1,000. So the profit margin, 100. The difference between NRV and normal profit margin, 600 in red, is the floor. So 700 is selling, 600 is floor. The next is what's the replacement cost. Okay, this chart shows us how we determine the market value. The market value is determined by the three: selling NRV, floor NRV less normal profit margin, and replacement cost. Actually, we just choose the one in the middle of the three. We have the book value. If we can determine the market value, we just use the lower one as the new book value of inventory. The advantage of lower of cost or market is we have both selling and floor limitation. The reason we have these two limitations is very simple. The selling, we can prevent the overstatement of the inventory. The floor deters understatement of inventory. Now, we use the similar example as we used in the prior section to illustrate the lower of cost or market. Different from prior example, we have two more values. One is replacement cost, one is the floor. As I said, these three will determine the market value and we will pick the one in the middle. These three, 104,000 is in the middle, so we pick the floor because the replacement cost is out of the range. Next one is 90. This one is we use 40. This one we use 48. Last one, mixed vegetable, we use 92. So this is the first step. The next is we compare the market value with the book value and pick the lower one. Because 80 is less than 104, so we keep using the book value. 90 is less than book value, so we use 90. 40, 48, 92. Finally, we can get the new inventory value. So the final inventory value is 350,000. The difference is 65,000. The value of the inventory will be written down by 65,000. The journal entry is we use loss methods, debit loss due to decline of inventory to market, and credit the control account of inventory, allowance to reduce inventory to market. The amount is difference between original book value and the final inventory value. In the case, if the final inventory value is greater than the original cost, there is no action. We only recognize the decline in the value. We do not recognize the increase in the value of inventory. Same as the lower of cost or NRV, we can also apply lower of cost or market to different categories at individual level, major categories, or total inventory. So for each individual product or inventory, so we keep the lower of cost and market and sum them, so that's the final inventory value. We can also apply it to the major category level. We just compare these two. So we keep the lower one. This one, we still keep the lower one. So total. We can also apply it to the total inventory and keep applying the lower one. Keep in mind, when we apply the lower of cost or market to different categories, we can get a different final inventory value. So you should be very careful when you read the notes. To what level or categories the firm apply the LCM. So both LCNRV and the LCM, using more relevant information to value the firm's inventory, there's still some deficiencies regarding these two methods. So this is a list of the conceptual deficiency. And when we use NRV to value inventory, it is also subject to some condition. One is the quoted price is applicable, no significant cost of disposal, too difficult to obtain cost figures.